six, five, four, three, two, one, go.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to Basic Black After Dark. I'm your host, Black Diamond. And tonight we're joined by a powerful woman whose work is transforming lives across the globe. Keisha Johnson McRae is a certified life and transformation coach. She is a wife, a mother, a proud grandmother, affectionately called Nunu, and the founder of Queen Coaching LLC and the beautiful Butterfly Queen movement. Her signature message, emotional and mental wellness, should be a conversation, not a scene. Challenging how we think and how we see healing. Keisha empowers Black Christian women, especially those raising children with ADHD and navigating chronic illness, to move beyond emotional overwhelm, restore hope, and embrace peace. She is also the author of Access Denied, Surrender the Battle, a poetry collection blending testimony. I got to see that. It's blending testimony, faith, and healing. With her gift of empathy, Keisha meets women exactly where they are, igniting transformation and speaking life into broken places. Tonight, we get to sit down with Keisha to talk about her journey, her mission, and the movement she's building. Welcome, Keisha, to Basic Black After Dark. I think we're having a little bit of trouble hearing you because you're going in and out.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now. Can you hear me clear? I think we may be behind, maybe just a, you can't hear me at all? Oh, you're still hearing music? Well, I know the music has stopped playing, so I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure what that is, but what I want everybody to know is who is Keisha Johnson McRae behind the titles, the coach, the author, the wife, and the Nunu? Who are you?
She may need to go
She
out and
may
come
need to
back
go
in.
out and come back in. You want me to come back in? Yeah, I'm still
Yes,
hearing.
the producer said to go out, go out, and come back in. Well, my apologies to everyone. This happened, especially with this weather changing the way that it is. We are in two different areas. Sometimes I'm off mine, sometimes they may be off mine. But if you just hold on, I guarantee you, you're going to have a great show tonight. She has a lot to offer, as I read earlier. Being not just a wife and a mother, she is an author, she is a coach, and she has these programs that she's running, transformation programs with speaking life into broken places. She's the author of Access Denied, Surrender the Battle, and I am so interested in getting down into this. And this is from pain to peace, an exclusive conversation with her. So I'm so glad to be able to have her on my show tonight to be able to break through all of this. And here she go. Can you hear me? You can hear me now? Okay, I think I can hear you a little bit better. But I was asking you before you had to go out. Who exactly is Keisha Johnson McRae behind the titles of being a coach, author, wife, and your new?
Well, I'm just just from the Bronx. That's a lovely, lovely, what love growing up, you know. And he's just, I just feel that I'm here to make a change in this world. I feel I was I chosen feel I was chosen for to be the for face of to be the emotional face of emotional my journey with
Mm.
my journey with and how I overcame it. So overcame it. Right now, who's right now who's open to be open to be for God. For God. That's
Yeah, I can catch like every other word of what you're saying. I don't really don't know what's going on with
Let me see,
the
because you know,
audio.
let me see.
While she's checking on that, hi, good evening, Dee Dee.
Okay,
Thank you
I'm
for
sorry.
chiming in. I
Um,
appreciate it.
can you have her to check her browser because she has something else open? It's gonna echo. She has an echo right now. So when she comes back on, tell her to make sure that she has nothing else open because if she have a couple of browsers open, she needs to close them so
Okay,
that it does not echo.
thank you. Hi, Charlotte. Thank you for chiming in. I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed tonight's show. I'm excited to have Keisha on here tonight. She is a poet, so we're hoping that maybe we should get her to say a little something. Keisha, if you have any browsers that's open, you may want to close them because we get an echo every once in a while from you.
Oh yeah, I do. Let me see. I'm always having browsers open. Okay. Let me see. Could be the browser. Okay. Can you hear me better?
Yeah, I can hear you better.
Giving me
It
his
was
phone
giving
number
me his
because
phone
my
my
speaker's on the
my
bottom.
speakers on the
So that could have
so
been
that
what the
could have
issue
been
was.
what the issue was.
Yeah, I can
Thank
definitely
you.
hear you a lot better now. You were telling me who Keisha Johnson McRae is behind the titles that you have, which are the coach, a author, a wife, and Nunu. I would definitely want to ask you about that Nunu. Is that a name that your grandchildren gave you, or you just wanted to be called Nunu?
Well, actually, I only have
Well,
one
actually, I only
grandbaby
have
right now,
one grandbaby right now,
and
Okay.
it's her
and
name is Miracle,
her name is
and
Miracle,
she named
Oh
me.
wow.
and she named me.
I
That's
I
cute.
kept trying to get her
I
to
kept
say
trying to get her
Glamour
to
and all
say
these little,
glamour and all these
cute little
little,
names,
cute
but
little
she
names.
named me. She
But
gave
she
me the
named
name. I
me.
said
She
I was
gave me the
gonna
name. I
take
said
it.
I was going to take it.
Hey, when our grandchildren speak, they speak.
That's right.
So I
That's
want to ask
right.
you, can you share a defining moment in your personal life that led you towards coaching and your transformation work?
I think
I
it
think
was more so.
it was more so.
I would say it came
I would say
around maybe
it came
like
around maybe like
2021,
2021,
2022.
2022.
Um,
Um,
for one, my
for one,
sister had gotten
my
sick.
sister had gotten sick.
She was battling
She was battling
colon cancer.
colon cancer.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear
And
that.
during that
And during
time,
that time,
I was able to
I was
be
able
solace
to
to her
be
during the moments of
solace to her
uncertainty that
during the
she would
moments of
have.
uncertainty that she would have.
And that
And
right there
that right there
changed
changed
me in so many
me
ways.
in so many
I
ways.
knew it was nothing but
I
God
knew it was
because
nothing but
of my
God because of
emotional
my
overwhelm that I
emotional
used to suffer
overwhelm
with,
that I used to
right?
suffer with,
The emotional
right? The
exhaustion I used to
emotional
go through,
exhaustion I used to go through,
the emotional
the emotional
traumatic experiences I used
traumatic
to have
experiences I
when
used to
there
have
was
when
loss in the
there
family,
was
just a
loss in
lot
the
of
family, just
dramatic things that used to go on in my life. So to be able to be a solid foundation for her during that time really, really caused me to want to do more for women, wanting to do more for, like I said, dealing with Christian women. I know a lot of times we are silenced about a lot of things. So I knew for me, coaching, mentoring, being an advocate, because I'm an advocate for emotional and mental, health, because I dealt with it with both of them, right? And even now, a lot of it is still emotionally faceted in my life, right? But I'm able to handle it better, right? So I just feel that God chose me to be um, solace for her. He chose me to be someone in her life that she could count on during those times because she had the support, but for some reason my sister wanted to rely on me, and I knew had I not had been healed from the emotional exhaustion and overwhelm in my life, I would not have been able to be that for her during that time. And that right there also was a reason that I felt that I needed to be the voice for those women who are silent. And mainly I think for me it's Christian women because I'm a believer, I believe in God with all my heart. And I know there is a God because He saved my life.
Are
You
you
know,
the older sister or the younger sister?
I think I would say I'm more in the middle. Yeah, because I have an
From your
older
sister that you're
sister.
speaking of,
Yeah,
from
the
the
sister
sister
that
that you're
the
speaking
sister that
of.
I'm speaking of, I'm the oldest.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. You would have thought
What
she was the
did you know
oldest, but I'm the oldest.
on your personal journey and your identity? What does Queen, spelled with a K, mean to you personally?
Well, that was a journey on its own. I don't know why God gave me that, the KWEEN, but He did. But for some reason, because I didn't seek Him like I needed to seek Him to get validity on it, I was trying to think of things that meant just because of, I guess, the cliche of KWEEN. And it was only maybe about a year ago, He gave me Kingdom Women Embracing Emotional Newness, which fit me to a T because it was my tribe. It was the women that I'm seeking to support in their journey to their emotional healing. Right. So that's it. Queen, KWEEN. And I stand on that with everything in me.
Good. So you speak openly about Christian faith. How has faith shaped your journey of healing and helping others?
Could you repeat that question again? I didn't hear
I
you.
was saying you speak openly about your Christian faith.
Yes.
How has faith shaped your journey of healing and helping others?
Well, I'm able to understand how God saved my life and saved and rescued me from things that I mean most women, how can I put it? God saved me from myself. Let's put it, I'm gonna put it like that because I know it wasn't me. Because the suicidal ideation in the past and all of the emotional trauma that I went through, and this is not trauma, this wasn't trauma that I went through because of certain things maybe that was so traumatizing in my life. But when you think of trauma, everybody's trauma is different, right? Everybody's trauma is different. But for me, emotionally, my emotions, I couldn't manage my emotions, right? So I knew that I had no choice but to lay my life down to God, right? I had to get one that night. I was going through so much, and I just laid my life to Him in the middle of my floor. And it was only then that I surrendered. That's what access denies. Surrender the battle. I surrendered my whole life to Him, right? Which I had no choice but to stand on Him and not on myself. So I believe my faith is a wholeheartedly part of my life because I know I wouldn't be where I am today without my Lord Jesus Christ. I would not.
So
I would not.
how do you
And that,
stay how do you stay spiritually and emotionally grounded when life feels a little overwhelming for you?
well, back to my faith. You know, I have a great support system, emotionally, spiritually, physically. You know, I have a huge support system, which many people cannot say that they have, right? So I'm able to lean on them. I'm able to, I wouldn't say put everything on them, but I'm able to. I have people I can talk to. I have people I can trust, right? I have people that I can confide in. I have a bishop, right? I have a first lady, So I have close girlfriends like sisters that if I just want to have a conversation, whatever it's about, emotionally, my emotions, spiritually speaking, but I have a huge support system, and I think that's something that's very important, which a lot of women, Christian women, women alone do not have. And I'm just fortunate
Right.
to have that.
So I want to talk a little bit about your coaching and the Queen movement. Tell us about the Queen Coaching LLC and what makes your approach unique.
You froze.
I was saying I
Okay.
wanted to talk a little bit about coaching and the Queen movement. Tell us about the Queen Coaching and what makes your approach unique.
Okay, so as far as the, which are two different things, the Queen movement is actually called the Beautiful Butterfly Queen movement. That's the movement itself. And the Beautiful Butterfly Queen movement was birthed out of the pain, my pain, I would say, to my purpose when it came down to my sister, the last days of her life. So my nickname is Beautiful. That's what our mother named us. And my sister nickname is Black Butterfly, was Black Butterfly. So I intertwined, I put them both together. And I just added the queen, which was already there anyway, because it just was a fit, right? It just made sense because a lot of things that my sister went through, I experienced, and we was just really yoked that way. So it just made sense. And as far as the Queen Coaching LLC, that's just the coaching and the mentoring and advocacy in itself, right? So if someone decides that they would like to hire me, would like some advocacy when it came down to mental health or emotional health, um, that's where that falls in, that. But the movement is separate from the actual
So
business.
the beautiful butterfly queen movement, it's a powerful name.
Yeah,
So what does that movement represent besides just that? Is it something else that it represents as well?
yeah,
Because you put the
transformation.
combination of both of you in, but between you and your sister.
I would I would say that it represents spiritual transformation because and it all boils down to before my sister passed away, she she went through a very she went through a spiritual transformation like never before. We it was just unheard of because of where she was in her life. So seeing that, I knew that there was a God. I knew that God, no matter where you was at in your life, no matter what you was going through, my sister actually went through her pain and the pressure of the pain, and at the same time, she had peace. I watched her go through that. So this movement is more than just a movement, right? It's a lifestyle. It's a
Oh
lifestyle.
wow. Okay. So what are some common struggles that you see African American Christian women facing?
Well, for one, even though emotional and mental health is spoken of now more than it was before, I still think in the African American and Christian community, a lot of us, we won't speak on it, right? I think we're more afraid, again, even being Christian women, we're afraid because I went through it myself, even being afraid come to share that you're struggling emotionally or you're struggling mentally, be- because you're thinking someone would say to you, well, if you believe in God, why are you struggling? Why emotionally you're going through this? Just take it to God. When I understand, and even for anyone who's going through something emotionally or mental, you could, yeah, we take it to God, but it does not deviate from the fact that we're feeling what we're feeling, right? And that's it right there. A lot of times we it's almost like we don't get permission to feel in order for us to heal. And I just
Balance
feel like for me, I'm gonna be that voice.
practical coaching tools with spiritual empowerment.
Say it again.
How do you balance your practical coaching tools with spiritual empowerment?
Well, I actually, yeah, because I actually do both, because you have to do both, right? You can't have the practical without the spiritual. You can't have the spiritual without the practical, because there are going to be some things that you do or that I have to help people through in order for them to be healing, them to how can I say, them to go through their own transformation, right? I have to marry the two. It's no such thing of me giving you spirituals or some type of spiritual coaching or mentoring or advocacy, and the tools itself are going to be practical. There's going to be some tools that's not going to be Christian or not going to be spiritual, but we have to add them in. So it's just the fact that, when I speak to people, I let people know that women know I'm a believer, right? So whatever I speak to you about is going to involve God, but at the same time, I understand the steps that I might have to give you in order to move forward are going to sometimes it's going to be mixed with both. But the practical is definitely it has to be in it. It's no
Can
such
you
thing for it
can
not
you
to.
share a story that actually transformed you from a client, something that really impacted you, without giving the client's name?
Um, a client's issue.
Well, it could have been a client that came to you and
Hmm.
they discussed something and it had a great deal of impact on you.
Oh yeah, I I had a young lady actually a couple of years ago, and she was going through something in her marriage. She was going through something in her marriage. Um, it seemed like the person was in and out, right? And for me at that, it's strange because for me at that time, I had some things going on too, right? So her situation impacted me a lot because when we're sitting in something, we and someone come to us with that same problem, sometimes we think that we cannot help them. We're no good to them because we're going through our own personal endeavor, right? But for me, it impacted me because I still was able to, I wouldn't say give her advice, but I still gave her the opportunity to make a choice because the things that she was going through weren't what I was going through, but we both was married, right? So I was able I would say I was able to be her, I wouldn't say voice, but I was able to speak to her in a way to where she was able to really figure out what she wanted to do on her own. And that was an impact on me because that was kind of hard for me. But at the same time, I wasn't going through the exact same thing she was going through, but I was also married and going through my own things at that time.
So your writing and creative expression, your book, Access Denied, Surrender to Battle, it blends poetry, faith, and testimony. What inspired this project?
Um, I'm going to say that the inspiration behind this was basically me trying to be the voice for those. Well, first of all, I always come to me first, right? This book also was therapy for me because it gave me a chance to speak about everything that I felt, everything that I felt was being done to me, everything that I may have seen that I just could not speak to anyone about. I was able to put it in words, right? It was in words. And the words that I used during my when I was writing, it was therapy for me. And I was actually like almost like talking to my book, right? I was talking to the book. And it's expression, right? A lot of women, Christian women, we go through things and we suppress emotions. We suppress these feelings that we're having, and we do not want to talk about them. So I was bold enough. I felt I was bold enough to be that voice because I feel that everything that's in Access Denied, someone is going to find something in that they're actually going through and know that they can come out of it because in the beginning of my poetry, I would write about the feeling, but in the end, I express how God brought me through it, and that he could bring them through it too. But each poem is different. Each poem is different.
So, do you see your writing as a form of healing for you as well as for your clients?
Yes, I do.
In what way?
I feel that it's healing. It's giving them permission to heal because it's giving them permission to feel. It's giving them permission to understand that whether you Christian, whether you whoever you are, that it's possible for you to get through. It's possible for you to have peace during the process and during the pressure that you're going through. And I'm a firm believer, and I am definitely right here. I'm here, right? I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here. So I believe that my book is going to definitely be a healing space for women. It's different. My book is very different because my book it has what you call, instead of chapters, I call them gates. Instead of chapters, I call them
I
gates.
love that you use I love that you use permission, and I love when therapists and coaches use the word permission when they're speaking
Mm-hmm.
with their clients, because I feel as though it's very important for them to understand that they can give themselves permission. They don't have to wait for somebody else to give it. But you said
That's
something
right.
just now, and I wanted to ask you. You said that you shouldn't be here. What did you mean by that?
I mean, okay, so I think I'm gonna allude that to way back when, in my life, I went through suicidal ideation. Now, for me, knowing what I know now, and I said, yeah, that was just the enemy trying to get rid of me because he knew what God, the plans that God had on my life and the calling that He had on my life. So I was at a point where I don't know what it was. I didn't want to live. I every day I walked through the train station, something would say to me, "Jump the track," and I think that's why to this day that I'm so afraid to even go close to the edge, right? I'm very afraid, and I have to admit that. I ask God to deliver that from me, but I'm petrified. And I think because it's a trigger back to those feelings. Not that I want to do it, but the trigger back to those feelings that I was feeling and in those moments. I can remember them, like it happened yesterday, right? So that's why I said, because I could have took my life, but it was just something. I only had the thought. I never had the plan, but it was just something about when I will walk through something, or I would, mainly it was a lot of times it was the train station. I don't know what it was with the train station, but the devil want to be hit by a train. That I always say
Well,
that. But God rescued me
I
for that
want to
because He
say,
didn't allow me to go through with it.
I want to say, I'm glad you're here.
Ah,
I'm glad
thank
and
you.
very happy that you are so transparent with it. But I'm gonna tell you, anybody that's been in New York, been in the train stations, that edge, looking at the platform, waiting for that train to
Right.
come through, it's a
Mm-hmm.
scary thing, whether you're contemplating or not. That
Yeah.
edge is something. They got those poles in there, standing between them.
Yeah.
Wait for that train to
Right.
come,
Right.
because that seems like it's a safe
That's
space.
it. That's
Telling
right.
somebody from New
Yep.
York, I know it ain't no joke, and you got plenty
Petrified.
of
Yes.
platforms, and it's always millions of people in. You gotta. I'm not trying to scare anybody from being in New York or going there. It's just that we're telling you that line that's there for a
Yeah.
reason.
It's no
Don't
joke.
go too
It's no
far. The
joke.
train's door gonna stay open for a little while longer because there's
That's
a
right.
lot of people down there that gotta come and go. Or take that bag and
That's
throw it in
right.
between, and let go if you gotta let go.
Gotta
So
let
that's
go. Oh
that
my
New York City
goodness.
subway
Yes.
system for
Yeah.
you,
You
because
know.
I'm gonna
You
tell you,
know.
if you had to then say something about your book in 3 words, what would it be? How would you describe your book in 3 words?
Oh. Um. Authentic, transparent, and vulnerable.
Okay, and you shared every one of those things with us. You definitely seem to be on authentic. You
Mhm.
definitely appear to be transparent, and I appreciate that. You don't have
Thank
many people that's so transparent that would just come forward and to be
you.
able
Right.
to speak their piece and just be so comfortable with doing that. So it seems as though it's not a practice that you have, it's a naturalness
Right.
that you
Yes.
have with it. And I appreciate that. Why do you believe, if you believe at all, emotional and mental wellness has been such a secret in our community?
Um. Well, first of all, they both, yeah, they both work together. To, I feel they both work together because they're part of us. Um, I think it could be culture wise. It could be fear of the unknown, of what is going to come about if the transparency is there or if they share. And like I said again, especially in the Christian community, I really feel that when you think about these things, I feel that we maybe at some point that our communities or even our church homes can have some type of separate, uh, I guess, like some type of separate somebody we can go to regarding just that, right? Mental, we could talk to them about our mental health, because a lot of times, people make a discernment between spiritual counseling or coaching than it is, practical coaching. So for me, I even feel they both work together because I feel that God didn't put psychiatrists, counselors on this earth just to sit here and not serve the people, whether we're Christian
Exactly.
or not. But I do believe that Christian counseling needs to be a part, especially if you're a believer, it needs to be a part of your life. But at the same time, you got to get the help that you need regardless. If you can't
So
get
many
Christian counseling,
people,
you're going to have to go out on a limb and get some counseling because, eh, yeah, you don't want to find yourself on the other side before your time.
so many people have walked away from their faith, and I wouldn't say which faith they are, but so many people have walked away from their faith and they stopped believing. How do you work with a client that will sit in front of you and say, I've walked away from my faith and I don't even know
Well,
why I'm sitting here?
well, if I had someone that I never had that experience, but if I did have someone who came to me and indicated that if they're sitting in front of me, is there's a feeling behind that, right? But they didn't totally walk away from it because they wouldn't be sitting in front of me, especially if they already know that I'm a believer, right? They already know I'm a believer. So I'm gonna ask them to unpack that for me.
Oh, I love it.
I
I
want to
love
know.
that.
I want to know more about that. What happened? It's always a situation or an experience that causes us to make certain decisions. So, what let's unpack that together. Like what happened? Because sometimes it's misunderstanding. Sometimes we emotionally jump the gun of maybe what somebody said or what they meant before having a conversation with them and letting them know how you felt because of what they said, whether it's your pastor, your first lady, or somebody in the church, because there's church hurt everywhere, right? And I think a lot of
I
women,
agree
we don't sit down and have conversations about it. We I think women walk away, but I just would ask them. We gotta definitely talk a little more about this. I wouldn't push
Do
them.
you think that the church is a little bit more critical on women than it is men? Because if you, from what I see, I'm not no Bible thumping person, but I know where I draw the line and I know who is boss. But there's sometimes in a situation to where a man will step out of his marriage and he's the pastor.
Hmm.
In that same marriage, The woman is the one that most people are looking down on as if she did something wrong. But he'll still get up that next Sunday morning, still being that pastor, still getting that pat, still everyone saying great sermon. Now they may have their
Mhm.
little murmurs and stuff, but it's her that they're looking at.
That they're looking
And
down
it's
at.
her that have to sit there throughout all of that. And many times some of them do walk away. And when they do,
Mhm.
some people think it's she's shamed, she did something wrong.
Mhm.
What is your take on that?
Well, for one, I thank
Well, for
God
one, I
that I
thank
didn't
God
have to ever
that I
experience
didn't have to
that
ever experience
because, for
that
one, my bishop, Bishop Samuel S. Cooper, a man of integrity, right? So I know, even as him being a man in that retrospect, as as being a pastor as well, I don't know. I don't have to worry about that, right? So it's kind of hard to say, but I do believe, of course, that's even when you're not a pastor or if you're not a first lady, whoever you are, it doesn't matter. The woman, oh, for some reason, always gets always gets the blame and always get looked down on. And I just think because it's first of all, it's the lack of the sisterhood anyway. It's a lack of sisterhood,
lack of
right?
sisterhood,
It's
You're
right?
right because
easier,
those are
It's
the ones
easier.
that's doing the talking. It's not the
but
men that's doing the
But
talking. It's the woman that's doing the
it's the
talking. When
women.
she
That's
had
what I
done
women,
this,
said.
that's what I
yeah,
said.
It's a
and you're
lack of
right.
It's a lack
sisterhood,
of sisterhood,
and quiet as
and
kept is it's so many avenues you could take with that. It be jealousy, it be envy, it just be you know. And I just believe too that these people who look down on the women like that, whether she's a first lady and pass it, however it is, I believe that okay, I want to word my stuff right because we're talking about church and but I just think that we as women, even though it seemed like we've come, we come a long way with the sisterhood and coming together. There's still a lot of separation out there, and I just feel that
and I just feel
a
that
lot of times
a lot of
we
times
as women
we as women
we let our
we let our
feelings
feelings
get involved,
get
our
involved,
emotions get
our
involved in these
emotions get
things when
involved in these
really
things when really
it's not even that deep.
it's not even that deep.
No,
So, what are
it's
the
not.
three
No,
daily
it's not.
practices that you would recommend for women seeking peace and joy?
I think you froze. Okay, you
I think
back now.
okay now.
You're frozen right about now.
Now I'm frozen, right?
I'm
Okay,
frozen.
we're back now.
You're
But
back
my
now.
question was,
Okay.
We're back now. Okay.
what are the three daily practices you would recommend for women seeking peace and joy?
Well, for one, I would say
Well, for
stay
one,
grounded in your faith. Um, keep God close in your life because that's the first thing, right? Whether it's reading your word, studying your Bible, prayer, praise, just make sure you have a relationship with Christ because that's going to be number one.
because
You
that's going to
can't
be
do
number one.
anything
You
else
can't do
else
anything
right,
else
or you
right,
can't go through
or you
anything
can't
else in
go through
life and
anything
thinking
else
you're
in
going to
life.
endure without Him. So that's number one. And two practices I like to do. I love to write, right? So I tell women I have people that it has helped me sometimes I used to, and even sometimes now I have a overthinking. I overthink things, right? I'm better now, but sometimes you have those moments. So I always tell people, when you're overthinking and your mind, it just seems like it's just moving at a pace that you feel that you don't have control of it, especially let's say at night when you want to go to sleep. I tell them to do, I mean, it might have heard it before, but it works for me. Do a brain dump, right? Everything that you feel before you're going to bed, write it out, right? Write everything out that you feel. And
Out that you
sometimes it
feel,
don't even
and
make
sometimes it don't
sense,
even make sense.
but write it out
But write
and
it
go to
You're
out
bed,
absolutely
and go
right.
to bed.
You're absolutely right. I
you know?
before you came on, I was reading a little bit more about you and some of your background, and you spoke about ADHD. How can families better support loved ones who are raising children with ADHD or dealing with chronic illnesses? Because you spoke about suicidal ideation.
Mhm.
How would you support, or how can a person support loved ones who are raising children with ADHD or dealing with a chronic illness?
Well, I can definitely speak on that because I can speak on it from an experience standpoint. First of all, I raised I raised a child with ADHD, and I also raised a child that had juvenile rheumatoid arthritis at a young age. So it was two separate, times in my life. But also, I was diagnosed with lupus at age 19, 20, something like that. So throughout my life, children, I had a chronic illness, and I had to deal with mental. There's more mental and chronic illness within my two children. So my main thing of how I would tell women who are going through that, and these are moms, these are parents that are going through that, because I admit, it is not easy at all. It's very hard. But with us as parents who deal with children with special needs, who deal with children with chronic illness, and experiencing our own, we have to come, besides God, we have to make sure we're putting ourselves first so we can be effective advocates for our children. So that means taking care of yourself emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically,
I want
because
to
you will not
stop
be
you
able to
there. I want
be
to
emotionally available to your children without taking care of yourself first. Another thing I would say to a mom: make sure you educate yourself about your illness and about the needs of what your children have, whether that's ADHD, whether that's some other chronic illness. Make sure you understand what those things look like, right? So you have a better understanding of the child that you're dealing with. When it came down to ADHD, had I not did my research, had I not you know been willing to learn more about the child I was raising, and I had to understand I couldn't raise him the way I raised a child without it. You got to deal with them totally
wow,
different. They feel
wow.
different. They
So
think different. They are different, right?
exactly, they're
But
treated
not
differently
in a
too,
bad way.
especially
They
to
just
school.
they're just children that's different than what another child may be. But you can't raise them,
It's
nor
just
can you
simply
discipline them the same. So I would just tell them, get
it
the education, take care of yourself,
doesn't
but make
have
sure you
the.
get the education.
And it's very important. They're living with this, and a lot of times they're treated differently. But I want to acknowledge some of the people that came on. We had Dee Dee who said good morning or good evening to people, to us. Charlotte Simon is here. She says hello everybody. Um, we have Diamond Garrett who says Charlie Ray. And you may know who that is. Ferry
Those are all my
Lauren
daughters.
Savage. Sierra. Oh, okay, go ahead. Travita says good evening. Charlotte again says amen to a comment that you had made earlier. Patrice Grimble, hey, hey, hey. That's her signature. There you go. And Travita again said amen to something that you had stated earlier, as well as Diamond. And Dr. Carolyn Stevens said, hey, Coach Keisha, and hey, Black Diamond, great show. Charlotte Simon said, it's true, it is still indirectly taboo.
Yes.
So I guess you may be talking with something that you had spoke about earlier, but
Mhm.
just about everything
Mhm.
you spoke about is taboo, especially when you talk about things in the black community. She says
Yes.
exactly, pray about, pray about, pray about it, and she's shaking her head. Dr. Carolyn Stevens saying that's right. So I can imagine that head going back and forth saying that's
Yeah.
right. She said very well, we are having a very bad connection, but we're powering through. We
Mhm.
got it again from a few other people stating that it's a bad connection, but I thank you all for powering through. And I think it
Yes.
may be coming on my end, and I have no idea why because everything else is off. Tiffany Green says that she's so happy for her sister Keisha. Go ahead, Keisha. Charlotte again says amen, and that she had a plan, shaking her head, but God. So I think that she may have been in a situation that you may have once found yourself in. And she
Mhm.
says, say that because you came out and you said just what you needed to say. Also, said the same thing. Say that, Coach Keisha. Charlotte says, talking right. Again, Dr. Carolyn says, that's right, Black. It's called a double standard. Yes, it is. And I
Mhm.
know exactly what you mean. We're talking about that pastor.
Mhm.
Not
Mhm.
pointing out any particular pastor. I'm just saying that it happens in churches. And also, Charlotte says, come on now. Because so she's talking to you.
Yes.
And also, Dr. Carolyn says, one of my sisters in ministry was just talking about that tonight. So it has been happening and we have been talking about it, but we're talking about it here. She says, yes, Coach Keisha. And Barbara Johnson,
That's my mother.
is she in the Bronx as well?
That Barbara Johnson. That's my
Barbara
mother. She's
Johnson,
in
that's my mother.
Manhattan.
She's in Manhattan.
Okay. So you guys that's not from New York, do you see how we say things like you'll say Manhattan, we'll say Queens, we'll say Brooklyn, but when you say Bronx, you say the Bronx because
Oh
there's no
yeah.
other place like it. And that's why you
I
say
know, right?
the Bronx. And I've had people ask that question. Why do they say the Bronx? Because
I
that's
have
what
no
it is.
idea.
It is the
Habit.
Bronx. It's habit, but you can't say Bronx because it
No, you
sounds a little
can't.
off.
It just
But
don't even sound
you
right.
say the
Rolling off
Bronx.
your tongue.
But if you live there, you visit there, that's exactly what it is. It's
That's right. Yep. That's right.
I just wanted everybody just to know when we're hearing the word the Bronx, that's what we're talking about. But you had mentioned living with lupus and supporting families with ADHD. It does come with challenges. What
Hmm.
has resilience looked like in your own life when you had to deal with? I know you mentioned raising two children
Hmm.
with and I don't like the word disabilities. I'll say inabilities to
In the
do
right.
certain things.
Right.
So, what were some
Say
of your
that.
challenges?
Oh, my
What were some of your
challenges.
challenges and what has resilience looked like in your own life?
Well, some of my old challenges at the time when I was going through them, um, I a lot of times I felt alone. I felt shameful. I felt guilt. Um, Guilt came from like feeling like you thinking it's something you did wrong to um to have to watch your children go through certain things, or even for you yourself to be diagnosed with autoimmune, illness, which lupus is. So for me, those were the feelings. That's why I think I'm so hard on the fact that I love to work with women who will, share with me and disclose to me that, they have some shame, they have some blame. I blame myself. But when all actuality it came down to when you learn more, that's why I say education is very important. You come to realize that that battle that you're battling, it's not your fault, right? It's just what life threw at you at the moment, right? But I always believe God is not going to put more than on me than I can handle, and He didn't, right? Because, like I said, I'm still here, and I was able to endure during those experiences for my children. Because had I not been able to endure, where would my children be? Where would they be? So those are some of the challenges, that I dealt with. And like I said before, I believe that I came out of those challenges and I was able to be resilient, you know, with those challenges, during those challenges, is because I found ways to cope with it. I found ways to exhaust my support system. I made sure most of the time that they knew what was going on. So, like I said, I had a support system, and that's very important in everything that you go through, especially if you happen to be a mom or a parent that has an illness yourself or has a mental inability yourself, but raising children with those same type of issues. You need a support system. You need somebody that you could talk
Right.
to. You need somebody that you could rely on, because without the support system, without the support system and God, I don't think I wouldn't have made it thus far. Yeah.
So I know that
Yeah.
I spoke about the church earlier, but that's one of the places that you can go to for a
Yep.
lot of resources. You know, people are not just sitting in the pews holding their Bibles; they're holding a
No.
lot of knowledge as well. So you can go to the church. I apologize if anybody think I was making light of a pastor or of
Oh
the
no.
church. It's just that that's just reality. It happens.
Yeah.
The subject could be something else with a school teacher and how they are harder on the men than they are the women. So it can turn in
Mhm.
any way, shape, form, or fashion. It just depends on what profession you're talking about. You got some profession
Right.
that's equally, as bad for both sexes on anything. But I want to ask you, what is next for you? Whether it's
Ooh.
with Queen Coaching or the Butterfly Movement, or even your writing, what's next for you?
Well, I'm definitely even though my book hasn't can't come out came out yet, I'm definitely on a roll right now to write another book, right? Because I know I have more book in me. I have more to share. Um, I want to speak. I want to talk more about this life of emotional wellness. For the simple fact is, I don't disregard the mental part, because it is kind of interchangeable, but they both are two separate entities, right? Two separate ways of living, right? But we need them both in order to survive. So I just want to continue to share. You just know, everybody just know part of my story. There's so many more, right? And I believe that by telling my stories and allowing people to hear what I've been through, and where I'm at now, where I was able to come through and thrive through. And again, I lead back to that, going through all of the pain during my pressure, and at the same time having peace. All of that wasn't easy. All of that came with a price, right? And I just want to let people know that, it can happen for them too.
Yes, indeed, it definitely can. Keisha, if you can leave one message that women carry with them long after this interview, what would it be?
Mm. I would say to them, you know, your healing doesn't just happen. I'm gonna put it towards writing and creative writing. Healing doesn't come from just the words that you read, right? Healing comes from you walking through what you're going through, right? And coming out on the other side. So I want women to know that when you feel something, say something, because suppressing your emotions, suppressing how you feel, can cause you not to be available for the ones that really need you. That's
That is
about
so
it.
true. That is so true. So thank you so much. I am
Thank
definitely going to
you.
get a copy of your book, Access Denied, Surrender the Battle. Please, 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 once it
Absolutely.
comes out, hit that bookstore, hit, I guess, wherever
Yes.
you need to be to get that book because it sounds like it's a winner to me.
Thank
It
you.
definitely does. Yeah, I to like Ray, the wife, the mother, the new, the coach, the author. She reminded us that emotional and mental wellness should be a conversation.
And not a secret. I think you froze.
Want to learn more about Keisha or grab a copy of her book, Access Denied, Surrender to Battle? Make sure to follow her journey and connect with her movement. Please connect with her movement. As always, I want to thank you for tuning into Basic Black After Dark, where we meet you exactly what you need. So I want you to join me on Sunday because that's a special day. That's my birthday. So I want everybody to join me on Sunday if you can. It's at 8 p.m. I'm going to spend that day with somebody very special who I've been knowing for over 60 years. That's my mom. I'm going to spend that day with her. So um, I just want everybody to know that I chose that day because I also wanted to spend it with each one of you because I know you have birthdays when you're on the show and I don't know them until afterwards. So I'm sharing my birthday with everybody to say happy birthday to everyone, especially all the Libras. Happy birthday. Of course, I'm going to say we're the best sign because I'm a Libra. We stay balanced. At least we try to. At least I do. And I saw Charlotte in there said, "That's right, the Bronx." That's right, Charlotte, the Bronx. So she's also a New Yorker, and I believe she's from the Bronx. So Cheryl also says, "Good evening, my beautiful sisters. Good evening to you. Thank you for joining. If anybody want to see this again, catching the nuggets that Keisha has been dropping all night long, please watch the replay. Stay in contact with Keisha because I believe that there is more to come. Oh, happy birthday. Thank you. Oh, another diamond. Oh, thank you. Wait till how explosive you become because I believe that's what's coming next. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you for keeping it basic. Good night, everyone.